Welcome back to Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Avatar, Fire and Ash. This is the 2025 film. It is the third in the series. There are two more to go. As far as we know, there are at least two more. One is in post-production right now. One is being filmed at the same time. Speaking of which, this film and the one just before it were filmed around the same time. They were filmed together. So this is why the previous one, the second one, the way of water and Fire and Ash, are very tightly connected. They are separated maybe by a few weeks or months, whereas the first Avatar is separated from the second and third by years, decades even, because if you haven't seen the second one yet, I highly recommend you watch that. In fact, watch the first two. Watch the first and the second before you watch the third. If you have not watched the third, if you suddenly are like, oh, what's all the hype about this? Let me just watch this new one. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's just blue cat-like people from another planet flying around and swimming in the water, right? No, it's not. It's not. It's not that at all. It's not that simple. From an aesthetic point of view, from just 1,000 feet just above, and you're looking down and going, oh, there's a bunch of skinny blue people running around. Sure, that's not it. That's not it at all. It is very much a reflection of our American history, as well as the history of so many other nations around this world, as it has happened for centuries. When it comes to, say, colonialism, is a bit of a heavy theme in this. So yeah, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes long though. So I realize why you might not want to run all three of them back to back in a day. Good on you if you can do it, but I mean, some people could do that with Lord of the Rings, the extended editions. I don't know if you can do that with this, and it's not necessary. I think you would enjoy it more, because they do get more intense as time goes on. This is, as much as I hate to break it down by making a comparison to another film trilogy, this is James Cameron's Return of the Jedi. I know some people squirm at hearing that, because each of these films are distinctly separate. But when we left, and I'm going to try to avoid spoilers while I can, I'll warn you if I get into some deep spoilerish, clearly spoilerish eras. While the heroes did finish the film triumphant, it was not without great sacrifice. It was a humongous sacrifice, and the repercussions of that are found throughout this film. And we get it's a family. It's all about a family. In these two films, 2 and 3, are all about Jake Sully Neytiri's family. If you don't know who that is, I refer you once again to the original Avatar film, not The Last Airbender. That's a totally different saga, so don't get confused with that. Not that I don't think most people would, but you never know. So 3 hours and 20 minutes, and it feels like it, and yet it doesn't. At the same time, it's you spend a lot of time with these people, and it seemed, for me, did anybody see The Mandalorian Grogu? I know there's another Star Wars reference here, but it felt like that movie felt like it was like 3 or 4 episodes sort of stitched together, right? Well, this, if you look at the pacing of it, over 3 hours and 20 minutes, it feels like it's a season of television. And while the scale of this I don't think could fully ever be appreciated on a serial television kind of thing, I think in the future, if anybody wanted to, not that James Cameron would want to, not in his lifetime, I think it's hard enough for him to see this on a screen this big. Because, yeah, it's different. Physically, I saw this in, I think, Dolby or IMAX, I'm not sure. I think it was Dolby. And it reverberates. It shakes the room. You feel this film on television, where I have neighbors. I can turn up the sound if I want to anger all of them and get kicked out. But yeah, sound is a big part of this. It feels like, though, that if you really wanted to, getting back to my point, I know I get on these tangents, if you wanted to, there are clear breaks at times where I feel that there are certain story arcs that are presented, gone through, and then reached, like a good breaking point, and then we move on to maybe another episode where the stakes are higher. And I think it would work on if you could guarantee that everything would be in like 4 to 8K, and the only people who could watch were people with big screens and wonderful sound systems. I think that would make James Cameron happy. I think, again, a lot of the issues that people have right now, especially when it comes to Disney Plus and streaming services, some people are just opting not to go to the movies. Especially when you have to sit in a seat, no matter how comfortable it is, and no matter how great the sound is. Some people just want to be able to pause it, make the popcorn, go to the bathroom, uh, chat about whatever that scene just was about, and then start it up again. I know that's not movie going. That's not the movie going experience. But I think a lot of people were just like, I don't want to spend $25, at least in my area, at least $25 around Christmas time, where you don't really have time to go to the movies for 3.5 hours plus trailers. You don't have time to do all this running around because it came out around Christmas, early December, I think, early mid-December. You don't feel like I'm going to spend Christmas with the blue people. No, not going to do that. And it's just, some people go, oh, it'll be on Disney Plus eventually. And it is like a good 6 months, which is longer than most other films Disney made, produced, distributed films take to come to Disney Plus. Most take 100 days. This one took a whole lot more than that. It took a good 180 more days, I believe. So almost 200 days. So, to describe this film, again, not just as the Return of the Jedi film, because there is a clear kind of glorious victory, almost with approving ghosts at the end. Let's just say that it's not that, but there are people. There's a joyous moment, again with a lot of sacrifice, but there's a joyous ending. So it's very upbeat because. I think when the next time we see, even though everybody appears to be computer generated, they're not, but even though they appear to be, 4 and 5, I feel, are probably going to take place a good number of years after this sequence, these last two films. So it's an evolution of this family. I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing, but I think this is talking about a family and how they grow and change, and the struggles they face as they are put into a new land. Jake Sully is a human. Jake Sully is our main character from the first film, and he's if you don't, again, I'm going to just go over this briefly for anybody who doesn't know. He's a man. He's in the military. He's a Marine. They're sent into outer space to watch over these people who are sent there to explore and understand this strange planet that has a civilization on it. And yes, it's all about, at first, acquiring resources. Unobtainium was the original MacGuffin in that film, where they were just trying to suck it dry of whatever resources. And Jake, in order to sort of integrate himself with the native tribes of that land, who are very primitive. They're before any kind of industrial revolution or anything. They have weapons. They don't have guns. This kind of thing. It's very much like the first people of America, the Native American tribes. It's a clear correlation. You don't see it more so than in this film. Like, each of them touch on it in a sense, without going, hey, what? Like, without one of the human people going, hey, we did this in America one time. Nobody's consciously thinking about that because they know they would be the bad guys. in this situation. And so Jake, gets to know these people. There's a technology that lets you take on an avatar into one of these bodies, a body that is created in a lab for you to walk amongst the people, unbeknownst to them that you're different. And of course, he falls in love with a native girl played by this is Jake Sully, by the way, played by Sam Worthington, and Zoe Saldana is Neytiri, and they're the core of that film. Of course, there are other Marines and other people who are very much on set with their agenda that they were assigned to, and Colonel Quarch is the gentleman who, is his commanding officer and does not like deserters. Yeah, doesn't like a guy who betrays it. And he's played by Stephen Lang, one of my favorite actors and characters in these films. You might have seen the first one and go, how is he in these films? Well, if you haven't seen it, if you've been waiting around, well, you'll find out. But one of my favorite scenes, and I'm not going to go into great detail on this either, but one of my favorite scenes doesn't include our main characters at all. It involves Quarch and another new villain, which we kind of see. She's not in this, but we see as the leader of another tribe. Each film we are introduced to a different tribe. The last time it was the people who live on the water, and these are people who live in the shadow of a volcano, and their lifestyle has been shaped by this, down to how their faith in Awa, which is their goddess of the communities, the tribes on this world. And it's a whole planet. It's a whole planet they call Pandora. At least the humans call it Pandora, and yeah, but they. You can't just assume that, oh yeah, we landed in this one area and that's what everybody is like. That's what everybody looks like and acts like and what their traditions are. No, they're all different. And again, tribes fight against other tribes, and in this case, the Ash people, as they call them, well, they have a leader. She's real big on fire and ash, and Quarch and her sort of have a meeting, and it is very it shows us the character and the will of both of these people, and so much of it isn't just let me just spit out a bunch of evil guy lines. No, it's not. It is people showing their resolve and how far they're willing to go to get what they want, and how, if at all, they can be surprised by someone else, whether they agree with their agenda or oppose it, and can they deal with it if they oppose it. So we get two bad guys, in a sense, sharing a scene, and it's really good. I really enjoy the scene. I mean, there's tons of action that's just not done with shoot gun, fly giant lizard bird kind of thing, and do flips and swooping in around and then duck behind cover and then shoot some more. No, it's not just that. It is a lot of that. There's a lot of shooting and swooping and giant whales. If you ever told me that I'd be into watching a whale fight, whales versus giant boat machines, if you ever said I would be watching a film about that and really enjoying it, well, I'd call you crazy. It's not something you're expecting. And that's one of the great things about this is that, we're 3 films in, and they're all each 3 hours long, that we figured we'd have enough. And yes, some of us may have enough of this, but it's not the kind of thing where it's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a while was putting out something every 10 minutes, which I'm not against. Star Wars, same thing. We're putting something out every 6 months in the theaters, and there's like 5 series going on, between all of them. And I love Marvel, and I love Star Wars, and I love any time I get a chance to live in that world, even if it's through a screen. But this comes out once every 4 years, 3-4 years, even when he's making them back to back. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay just going back into this world and seeing the story, even though you kind of can tell, if you know any kind of history, how these things tend to work out. This is kind of also a situation where, and again, this also goes back to my Return of the Jedi reference, where you get the people, the less technical, the native, the people they consider savages, taking up the fight to preserve their way of life and preserve their people, preserve their home against incursion from an aggressive, violent, greedy force that is looking to basically get the ambergris out of the whales. It's like more valuable than gold and diamonds. It's just getting the yellowy, goopy juice out of all of the almost immortal whales that are treated as gods to a degree, demigods, but also as a sentient people, not just because they're whales. They're not whales, but they're like whales. There's so many creatures in the water that are like creatures we know. And that's one of the great things about these films, is that James Cameron and his people have designed so much stuff. Not just weapons and machinery and the world just going, oh, we have floating islands in the sky that's dripping with vines and things like that. Every animal is clearly thought out based on real things that we know. James Cameron spent enough time under the water, let's just say, to go, oh, I've seen that. That's neat. That's cool. And he and his team have gone together and built all of this stuff up. And it has resulted in some astounding looking creatures, including some terrifying ones. The most terrifying of which are the ones that come live in the dark. Well, they are... When you first get to meet these creatures, they're nightmare fuel. Imagine like a manta ray and a shark and an octopus had a scary, scary baby. That's what you're going to get in this. So, but yeah, you get to see them in action, and it's, yeah. If you see one in real life, dude, just run. It won't matter that you're running, but just run, because they're going to get you no matter what. So yeah, beyond this great cast, the girl, the woman played Varang, who is the main villain, along with Quarch, is played by Una Chaplin, and let's just say this is one thing I will spoil, only because I saw her name in I looked at her credits because I wanted to see who she was, if I'd seen her in anything else. And she's done a few things that I recognize, but I don't know if I picked her out in the cast. And of course, she doesn't look the same, so she's not blue in all the other films, and 7 feet tall. By the way, character design on this, the makeup and just the look with the darkness around the eyes and the red, and just how they make them look so much different than the other, why can't I say the name, the Na'vi, the other Na'vi people. That is just, it's so well done. And I know some people, again, I know there's a lot of people are just like, oh, another Avatar, it's Ferngully in space. No, it's not. Just get over that. Have some fun. Have some fun with these things. But she is scary, and she's awesome, and she's also credited already with her future projects. The only two that are currently listed are Avatar 4 and 5. So we're going to see more of her, and thank God. Because she's creeptastic, but at the same time, she has a vulnerability. She has a certain passion. She has an agenda. She has not just, I'm evil and I want to kill everybody, give me guns. No, she's just like, okay, she's enamored by this new magic that the sky people have brought, but she has a range. She's not just a one-off bad guy type of character. We get to see characters from both sides, are not just the cliche, the simple, I'm the bad guy, I'm the good guy. There's struggle between both, on both sides, within their quarters. Sully, Jake, dealing with a tragedy and pretty much blaming one of his own kids for it. And by the way, if you somehow didn't want to watch the second one, or you forgot what was in the second one, they really get you up to speed just through quick exposition between characters as to what everybody's situation is. Whether it's Keaty, which is played by Sigourney Weaver, by the way, who, if you didn't recognize her voice, yeah, Sigourney Weaver plays a teenager in this. This is the magic of this technology. And it's also not done halfway. Watching this, you don't ever question whether you're looking at a digital character or not. I don't. They fit within the reality. You see a human character next to a Na'vi, and I don't question that they're a digital character. They are. It's stop motion. It's not stop motion. It's motion capture, but it's also, it's really feels natural. I don't sense the green screen. Okay, I don't sense the usual digital markings, the rough edges sometimes that you get with some lower budget or even some good budget CGI heavy films. This feels more natural. So honestly, guys, it's I don't know how they can keep making it better visually, but I'm looking forward to 4 and 5. Geesh. And I used to film this. The first one right not too far from me here in Los Angeles, and now they're filming these last two. They just filmed in, I think, New Zealand. They set up a whole... it was Australia for a little bit, part of it's Australia, but I think they've set up a final home base in New Zealand, which has a little bit more flexibility and a bigger footprint. But yeah, this is, for me, it doesn't have to be part of some big... And honestly, if they ended it tomorrow, I wouldn't cry. I think we got a good trilogy of films. Am I begging, oh my gosh, I gotta see the next one? No, I'm not, but I welcome it. I'm looking forward to just sitting in a theater and watching a movie that takes advantage of all the elements that goes into making a big budget, flashy, crazy action family adventure. So it's all good. It's all good stuff. There's other people you'll recognize in this. Kate Winslet. Let's see. CCH Pounder. Jermaine. What can I say? It's Jermaine Clement without a New Zealand accent, which is weird. Giovanni Ribisi. So yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces for what you'd see when they're not blue. But yeah, the blue, I think in the first film it might have been a little offsetting because you were just like, oh, we're gonna watch a movie that just mainly 90% blue people. I do like the fact that coming out of the second film and into this third film, the characters are dealing with their loss, their tragedy in very unique ways. And you look at Neytiri, and you look at Zoe Saldana, and she's just fantastic in her mourning. She looks so, because of the cameras they use on their faces, like literally this close up to capture every single detail, you feel every movement. You don't have to animate it. You don't have to just put digital tears in her eyes, or even just let me just adjust that look so she looks more gaunt or just broken. She looks broken, and I like how, like I said, there's a happy ending in this film. So there's again a lot of loss, a lot of devastation, and you don't know whether the good guys are going to win or not. But when we get this happy moment, I see Zoe Saldana for the first time really in these final scenes. She glows. She has this. She looks like Zoe. By the way, I was sitting in a doctor's office the other day, and she was on a really old episode of Law and Order. She was so young in that. She was literally a girl who's like, yeah, over there's the drug dealers. She did barely 3 lines. And it's fantastic. I was just like, okay, yeah, everybody gets their start early roles on Law and Order. Everybody gets a turn for the most part, I think. But yeah, so yeah, if you're concerned about watching this, do the time. Hey, it's on Disney Plus now. You can pause it. You want to go to the bathroom? Great, do that. If somebody's being too talky, the phone rings, whatever it is, you need to text something out. Nobody uses a phone anymore. But you want to do all this stuff? Yeah, pause it. It might try to wait for a scene break. That's what I instinctively do. I don't pause it in the middle of a sentence. I wait till a scene ends, then I pause it, and then I can return with a fresh feel. Do that. Try that. But yeah, if it's been a while since you've seen an Avatar film, go back and watch the other ones, especially 2 and 3, because if you understand the concept of the first one and remember it pretty well, you're ready for the most part. You just get to see the characters you met in the first one. They're now with a family, and everything that comes with having a family, and especially a family that comes from two very different places melding into one, and each of them have their own problems. The little one, Took, her problem is being used as just getting kidnapped and being used as bait, as ransom, basically, over and over and over again. Because she's easy to grab and just, hey, she's small and she doesn't fight back really. She doesn't fight back well enough to defeat a 7.5 foot tall Marine. So, yeah. But she got kidnapped less than her father, Jake Sully, in this one. He got captured at least twice. So, way to go, Jake. Showing the kids how to do it. You might not be into the whole sci-fi thing. If you're interested in seeing a relatively new take on American colonialism, yeah, you'll see plenty of nods to that. Nod might be not the best way of describing that, but But there's all the sci-fi action, all the technology, all the cool submarines and flying machines and mech things, and there's lots of humor too. So I really enjoyed it when I saw it in the theaters, and I enjoyed seeing it again now. So definitely give this a shot if you're looking for something to invest in for many hours. It would be. I think it would just be dumb or rude to not watch the third one if you've watched the first two. Either way, you're gonna get probably 2 more unless Disney runs out of money. Or like, hey, James. There was an Onion joke that said James Cameron rolls back on the expenses by filming Avatar 4 just in a studio apartment, just setting it in a studio apartment on Pandora. So yeah. Give it a shot. Again, Sigourney Weaver's character, Kiri, is one of my favorites in this. Also, for fans, she does get a little bit of an Aliens moment. A little bit. At least dialogue-wise. So, not exactly, not 1-to-1, but it's pretty dang close. All right, I was going to pick tomorrow's episode, but I don't have to because we already picked it yesterday. It is number 61, and 61... I have to unplug that. Oh, I've already moved it over. So, 61... See, 61 there, I've already moved it over. And that is... Pole to Pole with Will Smith. Yeah, that's what we're watching next. It's a docu-series of sorts, but Will Smith, yeah, that guy, the Fresh Prince, he goes all over the world, travels all over the world, and challenges himself. He had a series like this previously, similar, different name, but he's traveling, and he's going to all the poles, both of them, and everything in between. So, some pretty rough areas in the world. So, not Bel Air. Pole to Pole with Will Smith is what we're watching next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.